Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about wheel spacers, how to get the right size, what you need to know. Real quick video for you guys. Enjoy. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Roman, and today we're going to talk to you about spacers from my favorite place, the driver's seat. It's actually a little windy outside, so that's why we're doing this inside. So what are we talking about? Should you run spacers on your car? And if you are going to run spacers on your car, kind of what you need to know. So in my opinion, again, I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a race car driver, I'm not an engineer. I've run these on at least 5 of my past cars with 0 issues, 0 problems. The only thing I could tell you is if you don't get a good spacer, you're gonna have some like vibration and things like that, but that's your choice of spacer, whether you got a bad one or a cheap one. I highly recommend getting a good one from a reputable company, and I've had good experience. Maybe some of you haven't with certain brands. Maybe chime in and let people know. This is an H&R. I run H&Rs on again on the last like 5 of my cars. No issues at all. Okay, so that being said, let's kind of dive into what you need to know before buying a spacer. And there are a couple of different varieties of spacers. They sometimes look different. What I recommend is what's called a Hubcentric spacer, which that means it's specifically designed for the size of your hub. That's the part you see when you take the wheel off. That looks exactly like this, like right where your disc brakes are in the center. So I recommend getting the one specifically to your size. When it comes to spacers and wheels, everything has to be mounted as flush and as sturdy as possible. Otherwise, you're gonna have vibrations, and then you're gonna want to take these things off, and you're gonna say, "Well, spacers are crap." So, what you need to get, what I recommend you get, is a Hubcentric ring. So let's say I have a BMW 2013 328i. Pretty much takes the most common spacers for BMWs because I have the 72.6 mil hub bore, right? So this inside measurement from top to bottom, 72.6, maybe slightly bigger. And then this one out here, which you're going to get on I believe like 10 mil and bigger spacers, you're going to get this extra part 2, which is great. Also 72.6, so this will fit perfectly into a factory wheel or a wheel that's set up for a BMW with that bore size. Okay, this is as easy as it gets and as perfect as it gets. So make sure this is right, and then you want to make sure your bolt pattern is right. So BMWs are 5x120. Most Audis, I believe, like 5x112, 5x100 on some of their models. And then most imports, I believe, and I'm sure I'm going to get this wrong, I think it's like 5x114.35 or 7. I don't know. Somebody comment, let me know. That's the specs you need to know outside of the width you want to run. With the width, obviously, just go outside of your car. You can kind of measure to see where your wheels you want to end up with, and then order the ones you need. Okay, so this makes it easy. This mounts up up to your hub. This is gonna right up to your factory wheel, and the only thing else you need is an extended bolt. So because you're adding a spacer between a wheel and where you're mounting it, usually your factory bolts are not long enough. Okay, because once you're basically adding in the thickness of the wheel, you're going to end up with sometimes none, depending on the size of your spacer, but very little of what's actually going to hold the wheel and tire in place, right? So if you have a 15 mil spacer, get a 15 mil longer bolt. Okay, so speaking of bolts, not bolts are the same. Okay, so these are the same. So there's 3 parts to this. Okay, obviously the length is different because this is the extended version, but the threading has to be the same on both bolts. The thickness has to be the same on both bolts. And the seat or the top hat has to be the same, right? So most factory bolts, I believe, I don't know about imports to be honest, but Audis and BMWs are the ones I mainly deal with, have a cone seat. Okay, this little part right here. That's important. Okay, a lot of aftermarket wheels, I believe still do, have a ball seat. Okay, a requirement for a ball seat, which basically is just rounded. So it's not cone straight like this. It's more like kind of like curved like that. As you can see right here, this is where the paint has rubbed off, because when you're putting this in the wheel, it's specifically designed for that shape. So it's rubbing against it. It's actually centering the wheel, and it holds it in place by these edges. Okay, that's the reason. Obviously, if this was just a shaft, the wheel would just come right off, right? So this is what holds the wheel right here. Okay, if your wheels require a ball seat and you use these bolts, only the very top of this would actually hold the wheel. So it's not ideal. Okay, just I'm trying to make this as fast as I can for you guys. Take my word for it. Get the right bolts for your wheels and make sure that this part is the right one for your car. Okay, because there are different BMW bolts. Learn from my experience. They're not as thick as these and have a different pattern, I believe, too. Different threading. So that's what you need. A good spacer in the right specs and the right bolts. Now, a lot of you guys and girls are going to run aftermarket wheels, right? So it's like, Roman, what do I do? Like, you know, I already have a spacer and it fits, but it's not the bore on my new wheels is different. So if you have like just like a 1-for-1 Hubcentric spacer, make sure your new wheels, aftermarket wheels, are a bigger hub bore than this, okay? Because obviously if it's too small, it's not going to fit. And I'm going to show you an example here. This is a 74.1 mil spacer. This is technically an adapter. And this is a 72.6. Okay. If this was my car, so this is the part actually on my hub, and I have this spacer, nope, doesn't fit. I can't use this, right? Like you can't fit something bigger into a smaller hole. No jokes. Seriously. But if it's vice versa, so let's say this is again 72.6, and this is a 74.1, right? Fits, no problem, okay? But it doesn't fit perfect, and you don't want this, okay? You don't want movement. What you do want is what's called a hub-centric ring. Now, if you guys think about the difference between 72.6 and 74.1 is 1.5 mil, I believe. I'm doing quick math in my head while filming videos. You put this on, like this is almost nothing. That's a perfect fit, okay? Especially when I'm pushing them together, okay? Now, something was wrong with the spacer because this is not flush right there. Like, see, you can see right there, the light. That's not how it should be. And I think that's the issue with this one. And that's why I can't use it in a paperweight. But these are very cheap, often made out of like either some kind of metal, like aluminum, or some kind of composite material, or even just basic plastic. Doesn't particularly matter too much as long as it aligns it right when you're tightening the bolts and it keeps everything right. That's very important. So let's just review real fast. Right bolt pattern, right hub bore, on specifically on this side, and then this one you can adjust bigger fairly inexpensively. If you already have this one, obviously you can order spacers to your exact specs most of the time and go from there. Now, it's like, Roman, but like I have 72.6, but my wheels are 66.6. Okay, you need an adapter spacer, and this is what technically this was supposed to be. So this is supposed to take a 70, actually this is backwards apparently, but you can get a spacer basically that will take it from a 74.1 to a 72.6 or whatever it is, right? They will have to be thicker though. Like you can't get super skinny spacers that will let you do that, okay? Because even the skinnier versions of this won't have this part because again, they have to have, you know, enough room to make this happen. So know your stuff, okay? One quick tip, if you are gonna run spacers, okay, let's say you got the right spacers, you got the right bolts, everything's good, put some anti-seize on here because these don't come off very often, and you know, brakes will rust and things like that regardless of pretty much where you live because you're going to wash your car, and it will help you down the line. That's all you really need to know. I bought a piece of 4 H&R spacers off of, I believe, Facebook Marketplace. I believe it was a 12 and a 15 mil set, so front and back, for 50 bucks. Okay, I probably paid more than 50 bucks for this one because I didn't want to, you know, this was brand new and I couldn't find any used ones, and that's a piece of crap. And this is significantly better. They're hardly ever bad. I don't know how they would warp or something else would happen. So you're pretty safe buying a used set of good spacers. Again, I use H&R. There's a bunch of other brands out there. You guys are more than welcome to comment, let everybody know what you've used or what we shouldn't use. Unfortunately, I don't remember what brand this is. It's like Precision something, but just didn't work out for me. But these did. I've never bought a new set of spacers outside of those crappy ones. So guys, if you like this content, again, I apologize, it's windy outside, that's why we kind of did this inside this time around. If you like the channel, please subscribe, please like. I have a bunch more stuff coming out. Next video is actually going to be talking about how to spec your wheels for your car. So a lot of the same kind of information, but more into detail with like offsets and things like that. So that's it. Subscribe, like, comment, enjoy. Thanks, guys.